Call the Town of Oliver Springs, November 21st, City Council meeting to order. Roll call, Joe.
Robert Miller.
Here.
Jeff Bass.
Here.
Charlie Bailey.
Here.
Teresa Van Hook.
Here.
Larry Holland.
Here.
Becky Devane.
Here.
We have 6, we have a quorum.
Joe, lead us in a prayer, please.
Our Father, we thank you and praise you and stand amazed in your presence at your love and your vastness and your greatness, and your ability to create something out of nothing. We pray that we would learn to love you and respect you and seek your face and study your word. We pray for these men and women on council that you would give them the ability, as Jesus had the ability, to take a couple of loaves and a couple of fishes and feed the multitude, and in the same way help us to take the tax revenue and the resources we have to take care of the most people possible. We pray for the world situation, the Russian-Ukraine problem, problem in the eastern world with China, and many of the problems in Israel, the surrounding areas, and elsewhere. We pray for peace. We pray that the love for you would transcend the disappointment and hatred between the parties.
Yes.
We pray for our nation and its leaders on all levels, that they would have your wisdom, seek your wisdom. We pray for our servicemen and women at home and abroad, and all the folks that work to keep us safe and protected
Yes.
in the various fields in which they serve. We ask all these things in thy Son's name.
Amen.
Attention, salute, pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
And to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We have a motion to approve the minutes from the last meeting.
Yes, I'm in the meeting, have to go back.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second. Any discussion? Any corrections or changes that need to be made? Anybody notice? Okay, roll call, Joe.
Robert Miller.
Pass.
Jeff Bass.
Yes.
Charlie Bailey.
Yes.
Teresa Van Hook.
Yes.
Terry Holland.
Yes.
Becky Devane.
Yes.
Passes 5-0 to 1.
Okay, thank you. This time, is there any citizen that would like to come forward and address the council? If so, come forward, state your name, and your item of business.
My name is Cecil Crow. I live at 720 Darty Road here in Oliver Springs. I'm a member of the Historical Society here in Oliver Springs. We'll have our open house on December the 2nd, 6 o'clock. Everyone's invited. It'll be at the museum, but I'm glad to have all of you out. We'll give you a tour of the building, and we'll have finger food.
That date again was
December the 2nd,
December 2nd.
Monday after Thanksgiving.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Cecil. Anyone else? All right, so at this time, let's give the mayor update. Obviously, last council meeting, I wasn't here. Had some concerning news concerning my heart, and so I ended up having to have a heart cath. So that was the day I had the procedure. Was 2 Thursdays ago, and thankfully enough, either it was a huge answer to prayer, a slight miracle, or a test was wrong. All that being said, I feel great. So thank you for each and every person who reached out and a word of encouragement. It made me feel good, right? And so, so I want to say that first and foremost, thank you. Secondly, our football team this Friday night has a really big game against our rival competitor right down the road, Cofield High School in is it the semis? Is that right? The quarterfinal, sorry. So it'll be a great game. Looking forward to that tomorrow night, and sporting my OS football shirt from Coach Tyler Harper. So thank you for that.
Oliver Springs or Cofield?
It's at Cofield. I believe the game's at 7:30, if I'm not mistaken, so. 7 o'clock. Thank you, Dudley. And looking forward to that tomorrow night. At this time, I'm gonna do something a little bit different. I don't know, maybe this has never been done in a council meeting. I'm gonna step in that room, I'm gonna grab something, and then we're gonna have I'm a visual guy, right? I'm a visual learner, and I believe there's a lot of people who are visual learners as well. And then I've got Anderson County E911 who's gonna come up right after I get done. Miss Davy Shetterly, she runs the E911 for Anderson County, and thank you for being here, her and Justin and her husbands.
You just have the delegations, and I'll get my notes.
So there seems to be some misunderstanding of who I am as a person and as an individual. It seems like people love to talk about me versus talking to me. So I'm gonna make a real clear presentation that's real short and concise, and you can take these checks to the bank and you can cash them, okay? Here's first things first. Things I value people, I value relationships, I value my time, and I value people who serve. That's first and foremost. Things that I love. I love Jesus. Doesn't mean I'm perfect, because I'm not. I love my family. I love my friends. I love my country, and I love my city. Make no mistake, those are the things that I truly love. Things I detest. At the very top of the list, liars, thieves, people who prey on innocent people. Those are things I truly detest. Let's reiterate number one, liars. Things I will protect. You just know this about me. My family, kids, not just my kids, your grandkids, my integrity. And you make no mistake, my integrity means more than anybody in this room understands or knows. Because the Bible says a good name is to be chosen above riches. And I have worked hard, my family has worked hard for a good name in this community, and that's exactly where I'll stand at the end of my 4 years, is a man of integrity. My business and my city, these are things I will protect. I hope we're real clear about those items, and if it isn't, then feel free to come and chat with me at any given time. I don't need anybody speaking on my behalf or for me, or saying that they are speaking on behalf of me. I don't need it. I'm a big boy. Come see me. So, that being said, we have a Miss Davy Shetterly, will you please come forward? So, roughly how many years ago did the state kind of set in play the dispatch, regionalization of dispatch and all that? Kind of walk us through roughly.
It's been about 3 years now. We took in Rocky Top and Norris.
Right.
About 3 years ago.
Yeah, it's been in TCA, public policy, since the 80s.
Okay.
That it's a promotion of the state,
Right.
of the desire of the state.
Correct, yes.
Okay. So I don't know exactly the exact timeline you all had reached out to us or about wanting to take over or go ahead and assume our dispatch. Is that correct?
That's correct.
That's correct.
Yes.
And so about a month and a half ago, y'all took over the fire dispatch for OS, correct?
It's about
Maybe 2 months?
About a month ago, yes.
A month ago?
Yes, yes.
And
Having a great response on that.
Great response.
Okay,
Justin,
yes.
would you concur?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. And so, what was it, maybe 2 weeks ago, we had a follow-up meeting about wanting to take over police dispatch, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
So, and in that meeting, did I not express to you the value of trying to make sure that all of our dispatchers were employed going forward?
Absolutely.
I did.
Yes,
And you said, we will interview, we'll try to make sure.
love to have them.
Love to have
Yes,
them.
yes.
And you also said, you'll work with us for a smooth transition.
That's all I want. I want it all to go smooth.
So,
Yes,
and are you here to serve the people of Oliver Springs and the city of Oliver Springs?
yes, sir.
So, all right, well, listen, thank you. Council, do y'all have any questions for Ms. Shedley or Mr. Massengill?
I would think that for us to change, it'd be appropriate for the town council to make a motion and a second to vote on it
Okay.
and see how it stands. I'm gonna be brutally honest.
Yes, sir.
Oliver Springs was chartered through Rome County. And our high school has been through Rome County since about 1925,
Correct.
thereabouts.
Yes,
We've had one elementary school in Oliver Springs since that time too, the high school and grade school in the same building.
that is correct, yes.
But it split, I guess, in the 1940s, before my time.
Yes,
And because historically we have been more or less a Rome County town, I would think it'd be appropriate to have the Rome County people come up here and see if they might be interested. And I'm not working against the mayor. I
Yep.
just,
they have always fell under Anderson County. And that has to give Anderson County has to give the approval for them to go to Rome County or Morgan County.
show me that in writing.
I can get it for you.
Yeah, well, as quickly as you get it to me.
Okay,
Because as a lawyer, I don't dispute your word or doubt your word,
sure.
but I want to see it in writing.
Okay,
I want to see who authorized that. And I know we worked with the,
it's the state 911 board.
yes, I understand the state.
Yes, yes.
You know, I've been here since 1985.
Okay.
I'm also the city judge and recorder,
Okay,
and I have general sessions criminal jurisdiction.
okay,
I am the longest serving judge in Anderson, Rowan, and Morgan County now. That's either a blessing because I've done a good job for all these years, or it's a curse because I'm an old man because I'm 72.
wow,
Now, with that in mind, and I ran for Attorney General in Anderson County in 1990 and lost by about 300 votes.
okay,
Born and raised here. And I know the intricacies between Anderson County and Rowan County. At one point, Anderson County wanted to pull the EMS out of Oliver Springs. And see, the EMS people serve down toward Blair. Because, Oliver Springs is in 3 counties.
right,
And at times, neither county wants us when there's responsibilities, but they want us when there's money to come in. And over the years, I have been very zealous to guard our town to make sure that we get the best service possible.
right. Well,
And I'm not casting arrows, but at the same time, I want the best for Oliver Springs.
okay. Now, what you're speaking of on EMS, that would be under Nathan Sweet. I am the emergency communications.
I understand
Yes,
that, I
yes,
understand the difference.
yes.
But I'm sharing that with you because it seems from time to time, there's a tendency for the people in Clinton to want to pull away from Oliver Springs to serve other areas.
That's not mine.
And I will expect, and quite honestly, over the years,
Yes, sir.
when I have incarcerated people with bonds, I have gotten calls from the sheriff instructing me as to how I would hold bond hearings. And the last time I studied the law, the judge makes the ruling, not the sheriff or not the deputies,
Okay.
see? And what I am saying is that I want to make sure that we get the very best service.
Absolutely.
Because
That's
it's
what I'm
easy
here
on
to
the front
do.
end to say we're going to give good service.
That's exactly what I do
That's what I
every day.
picked up in some areas of the county. And then as time goes on, the service dwindles.
Yeah. You've not worked with me, sir.
And
I
you've
don't
not worked
win
with
them.
me.
Yeah, fine.
But see, how long will you be there?
I've been there for 20 years.
How long will you be there? Because
Hopefully another
if you get a
20.
better job in the next several years, who will be working with? See? And I don't want to be rude or ugly.
Right.
I'm just putting the cards on
I have
the
worked
table.
very closely with Rome County, the 20 years I have been there. I do all of the 911 addressing in Rome County in the city of Oliver Springs.
Yes.
I have closely worked,
And I don't
I have got a
mean to-
great working relationship with Rome County.
I don't mean to put the police chief on the hot seat, but I think his input would be very important. And he might not want to comment, and I certainly respect that. But I'm simply saying that I want to make sure that we get good service. Because I'm not the mayor, but if we don't get good service, I'm going to protect my police officers. I'll be on the phone.
Yes, sir. That is my job every day, and I do it to the best of my ability. You want to add to that, David?
Davey's been great with us. We've been able to work quite well with her. I know right now that, up until this point, when talking, they, kind of, what would you call the stipend we get in December? The emergency relief.
Impact payment.
The impact payment, yeah.
So to help keep our dispatch running, they give us an impact payment every year of about $10,000. That's what keeps our dispatch open. Anytime I've had issues in the past, I've been able to call upon them and get help.
I do all their schooling, all their training.
Yeah, they've paid for our dispatchers to be APCO certified, things of that nature. They've been great to work with. When we talk about Roane County, me and the mayor and Corey went down and talked to them. Kind of the position they're in is a little different. They got completely different software. They got a lot of different kind of things that are going on. And to do a buy-in there would significantly cause a lot of issues for us on having to transfer data, switch issues, contacting with the state. Looking at, kind of both ideas all the way through, Anderson County would end up being probably the better choice for the town, financially and for any kind of problems. We flow right in with those systems now. Everything that we have works well with them.
So,
I personally, and I don't have on council, and you're all free to decide one way or the other, but I think if Roane County put in a written statement with the cost and whatnot the chief talked about, we would be in a position to compare both. And yes, you may have a trump card, but there's always a card that can be played otherwise.
and I understand what you're saying, Joe, and I respect that, and you have a lot more knowledge and wisdom than I do. You've been around the town since '85 as judge and recorder, and, I promise when I say I try to do my due diligence and be as objective about the decision being made as I could be, with no personal bias or no personal, just the town's best interest at heart. That's exactly what I try to do, and I respect if council wants to, have a motion and a second as to which way, Ms. Shirley can get us the information that you asked, and we can do it in December, and that way it gives council time to look and ask questions. I think that's probably fair.
Well, I don't see this on the agenda at all.
It's not,
I feel like that we've been hijacked, to be honest. I'm just saying what I feel.
No, well, I just asked him to come tonight so I could clear the air on a situation that has.
Right, this is my concern. I really don't understand why there is a big problem about this. I took Oliver Springs, I took North End with
Right.
absolutely no problem.
Right.
I saved them money.
Yeah.
I took
Yeah.
Rocky Top Inn, I saved them money.
The problem is that we have responsibility for Oliver Springs.
That's it, yeah, I agree
It has nothing to
100%.
do with you personally.
Yes.
It has to do with our responsibility to our citizens to investigate whatever we choose to do from this board.
That is why I'm here, because
appreciate that,
that is
but I
why
would
I'm
like
here,
to have
because
known.
I am transferring 911 calls on a 7-digit line.
Which
And
is,
that is not safe
yeah.
for the
I
citizens of Oliver
appreciate-
Springs.
I appreciate the problem.
That's
And
why I'm
I don't dispute the problem at all.
Okay.
However, as the city council, we are charged with making this decision. And I feel it should have been on the agenda. I'm just saying this publicly. It should have been on the agenda, and we should have had time to review any kind of information from you or Roane County or whoever. That's all I'm saying. It's not your fault.
No, it's mine. It's 100% my fault. Again, I was addressing the situation, and I was wanting transparency in the process. And I apologize if there wasn't transparency in the process.
I don't consider it your fault.
Transparency would be,
You don't- I don't think you owe an apology.
So,
Because see, this brings the issue before the council, where the council can choose to go with Anderson County tonight or at the next meeting at their choice. Or council might request information from Monroe County. Because to me, that's the best way. See, we're in a unique position. We can go out on bids between Rome and Anderson County. Now, this is before your time, but when I was in grade school and high school, when Anderson County wanted to build their new high school, they came down and they pulled all the students, the Auburn Springs students on the Anderson County side to go to Clinton High School. They got to increase their average daily attendance funding to justify the new school. That's fine. But at the same time, the students inside of Auburn Springs were bused all the way to Clinton when they could conceivably walk to Auburn Springs High School. And you had students on Norwood that could be bused very easily to Auburn Springs, but they lived on the Anderson County side. Imagine if the city of Clinton were divided between Campbell County, Anderson County, and Knox County right down the center of the street. And students, my neighbor lives in Anderson. In fact, I had a good friend that lived about 100 yards in Anderson County, and they could have bused him to Clinton when he could walk 3 blocks to Auburn Springs High School.
Yeah, we had that same problem with Rocky Top because some of it is
Yes.
in Campbell County.
Yes, and see, over the years, we've had this political pull between the two counties. And sometimes it's worked to our advantage, and sometimes it's worked to our disadvantage. And I want to make sure that here, whatever happens is to our advantage, where we get the best service possible. No reflection on you all, but, like the mayor said, I'm 72, I graduated from Auburn Springs in 1970. In 1970, Auburn Springs had 2 basketball teams, a starting 5 at Auburn Springs and a starting 5 at Clinton. See, so we got pulled. And I understand geographic, that's the way it works. And in my job as city judge and recorder of all these years, I have tried to make sure, like, that's my wife, Councilwoman Van Hook, like she said, that we do the very best we can for our citizens.
Absolutely.
thank
No
you.
reflection on you all.
Yeah, thank you. We'll get that information back.
Justin, before we-
Yeah,
I got a question.
Mr. Miller.
Has the county commission set monies aside for these extra 3 dispatchers? Or are we going to be taking our 3 full-time?
So what we'll do is, the town of Auburn Springs will be responsible for 2 of the positions financially, and then the county oversees the other position financially.
we're gonna at least take 3, maybe 4.
Yeah.
I have one more question for
Yes.
you. Did I understand you to say the state mandated that we have to go with Clinton?
No,
No, they're not mandating it. It's just a suggestion that
consolidate.
consolidation.
I think what she's talking about is we are not a part of Anderson County government. I think that
At
needs
all.
to be clarified.
At all.
We work under the state 911 board as an emergency communications district. We are considered a completely separate municipality under the state.
Yeah.
So
So do you get money from Anderson County?
the 911 district does not. We get all our money from the state of Tennessee, and that comes from your 911 cell phone bills.
Yes. The surcharge you see on your phone bill, that's us.
Yeah, and so what she was saying is, you are under Anderson County's emergency communications district,
Yes.
not Rome County. So to move out from Anderson County and go to Rome County, it would require the state 911 board to approve that.
Yes.
And I don't think that would happen without a significant fight. So that's what
Who would be
she,
doing the fight?
I'm just saying, they're not, they have been very vocal about districts moving to other counties.
You're saying the state has been.
Yes.
Yes. I'm not saying a fight between us and Auburn Springs, I'm saying the state does not like people to pull out of districts or try to move districts. What's said is pretty much what it is, unless people come together like we're trying to do to better service.
Yep.
So the state won't, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Our first concern is for the citizens of Oliver Springs,
Absolutely.
and it always will be.
Absolutely.
That's because that's
I
our
understand
job.
that. That's my job too, and that is my first responsibility. And the citizens of Anderson County, That's what I'm here to do, and I do it every day.
Well,
The only
Who
reason-
controls you all? Who appoints you all? Because if the county commission doesn't,
I have a board,
who appoints the board?
the mayor.
Mayor, which
Frank.
mayor? Mayor Frank?
Yeah.
Okay.
so in a way,
And
that's
so,
the
and-
county.
Yeah, so one thing.
She only has control of appointing the board, the members. She has no other control of the board.
But the funding comes from Nashville.
Yes. The funding,
Not in
for my
Roanoke.
funding, it comes off your cell phone bill, your phone bill, the surcharge you see.
And if you were the people from Rome County standing here right
Yeah,
now,
yes,
they would be telling us the same thing.
absolutely.
Mayor, may I say one thing? In Roane County, which I'm from, and of course, former council member, we have to go into contract with Roane County 911, and Kingston just passed theirs. It's every year you have to go on contract, $95,000 what it costs you to use their service.
Yes.
Ms. Cheverly, who, they probably are a board and a board of directors, and they make money from dispatching services.
Of course, it's not a for-profit, it's,
Couldn't be, no, it can't be for profit.
yeah, but it plowed back in for the operation.
Right, but all, Harriman, Rockwood, and Kingston are into contract with Roane County 911. And it's almost $100,000 a year, close.
Do the jurisdictions in Anderson County contract with your board? Will you provide us with a contract to be signed?
Right now, they'll be through the sheriff's department, an MOU through the sheriff's department.
What's an MOU?
It's,
Memorandum of understanding. It's
It's like
a
a-
local agreement between the agencies.
yes,
Okay.
So
Well-
right now, the sheriff's office provides the staffing for the 911 center.
yes.
We manage the center, all the equipment in the center, all the training that the center
Now,
provides.
wait a minute. If the sheriff's office provides the staffing and you all said you appoint them, then that's an inconsistent statement.
No, the board, they appoint the board.
They appoint the board.
Yeah.
Well, it looks like the board ought to hire the 911 staffing rather than have the sheriff's department fund it.
I'm
I mean, the
confused.
sheriff's department, so you all are saying, let me back up and say this. Based on your presentation, I assume that the board hired you as the executive director or someone.
Yes.
And you hired people not affiliated with the sheriff's department or whoever it may be. And now you're saying that you hired Anderson County sheriff department personnel for the 911 work.
No, sir. No, sir. The employees are through the sheriff's department only.
Okay, define through the sheriff's department. That
They
tells
are,
me-
they are employees of the Anderson County Sheriff's Department.
And you don't pay them?
No, sir.
So the county pays the employees who man
Yes.
the EMS.
I own the room and all the equipment in it. The sheriff's department has the employees.
And we would be responsible for paying for two positions.
Yes, ma'am.
So would we be paying the money to Anderson County, or would we be cutting
You,
checks just like we do now?
you're paying, the sheriff's department.
Yeah, and that would come out in the MOU or MO,
Yes.
yeah. Whether it be quarterly or monthly or the,
Another question, sir. Okay, so we pay Anderson County $40,000 a year for 2 employees. The next year, what if Anderson County wants $60,000 a year?
Yeah, who sets
Per
those
employee.
who sets those wages?
Who has that distinction of saying, well, where do you justify a $20,000 increase for this employee and this employee making $18 an hour? Or that's the taxpayers of Oliver Springs that has to supplement that money for that additional $20,000 we gotta cough up. So where does that come in at?
I think that would have to be in a multi-year MOU where we agree
Yes.
that we would not increase your cost significantly. Now, we have to keep up with inflation and employee raises and all those things, but there's not going to be any drastic increases over the years. And I think it's important for you guys to know the purpose behind this, why we're here, is not to make money. We're not in this for profit or to take the town's money. We're actually trying to save you money.
Correct.
And improve your service.
Right.
And we have ran reports, we have proven that without transferring those 911 calls, your people are getting help on average 45 minutes quicker without us having to transfer that call. That's the only reason we're here. We're tasked with making sure the person calling 911 is getting help down to the second faster than we could
Well,
get.
see, when you said that you had the Anderson County Sheriff's Department staffing, as I said earlier in my concerns, I had one of the Anderson County dispatchers call me as judge and said that I had to hold a bond hearing on a given date at a given time. And I asked that employee, I said, I don't understand the law that says that a dispatcher orders a judge as to how he runs his court. Now, I'm not a dictator, but at the same time, as judge, the court is under my responsibility. I don't consider my position one of power and authority. I consider it one of great responsibility to be discharged according to the precepts of the Bible and according to the laws of the state of Tennessee and the constitutional provisions of Tennessee, United States of America. And when I asked him that, he said, oh, I can't do that. And I said, that's exactly right. And there's been several instances of those. And that's why I'm pointing out that, putting it bluntly, I have concerns if we're with you all are fine from what you're telling me, but your employees are in the sheriff's department. And I have not gotten the best service as city judge out of the Anderson County Sheriff's Department dispatch. My officers, when we take them up there for bond, for incarceration, we'd send an officer up there and it may be 2 hours before the officer gets to pick up. My court starts at 1, my officer goes up at 11, he shows up at 4 to 3 with the prisoners for the hearing. Now, I understand they're limited in their staff and so on like that. But at the same time, my court is just as important as the other courts in the county and the state, although it's a municipal court. And I understand staffing. But at the same time, why do my officers have to wait for several hours before the folks are the prisoners are released to them to come to court? Now,
Joe, we can take it up with Sheriff Parker if you'd
yeah,
like.
now,
Yeah,
I don't do that work anymore based on some decisions by the Attorney General.
Right,
But I'm just sharing this with you because I have these concerns.
yeah, I don't have an answer for you for that, no.
Okay.
That they would be released from the jail, so that has nothing to do.
I understand, but you have jail employees that are dispatchers that have not shown the respect to the Oliver Springs City Court. If they didn't show the respect for the Oliver Springs City Court, will they show the same respect in their role as a dispatcher with 911? And that is that's the only reason I'm speaking right now.
Okay. Any more questions by council? Yes, Terry?
You mentioned the 7-digit line, like that's a bad thing.
It is.
What was that?
So what we're saying is when you call 911, 911 is a completely standalone phone system. It's got its own set of routing rules, its own lines. It is designed to be a priority system. When you call 911, we see your location, we see your number, we see all the things that we can get from your device. Well, with Oliver Springs Dispatch not having that 911 equipment, we're disconnecting that 911 call and then sending it over your regular 435 number. At that point, all of that special priority service gets dropped. And if that call gets dropped, there's a chance that we could not get that person back on the line. That's what we're trying to say.
But whether it's Rowan or Anderson, that wouldn't matter.
So right now, your dispatch center does not have 911 equipment.
Well, I mean, if we choose Rowan or choose Anderson, that still would be fixed.
Whichever side you came to, there would be
Oh,
911
Yes,
services.
oh, absolutely, yes.
I got another question, and this happened to me. I called 911, from right here, to South Food City. It transferred me to Rowan County. I was on the phone with them for 6 minutes before they finally transferred me to Anderson County. Then Anderson County transferred me back down to dispatch. And here I laid on the ground with an open femur fracture. And,
You probably hit the cell tower closest to you.
well, yeah, I was right there at Food City and the tower was right there on the hill, so.
Yes, that's the
And
problem,
it
just
sent
like
it
she
to
was
Rowan
saying.
County instead of Anderson County.
Yeah, just
where
like
it
she was
should've went.
saying, you're right here, you've got Anderson and Rome all together. So
Technology is changing. We just in the last year have technology now that we're not so much looking at where the cell tower is. It's looking at your cell phone device and routing based on that. So those days of hitting that tower in the next county are coming to an end, and that's gonna be a big improvement.
That's good to know, because I have had that same situation that Robert has expressed, and I was transferred to Oak Ridge, and then Rome County, and then Anderson. It's like, come on, seriously? Well, that's good to know.
It's
So,
really gonna help the response time for Winrock.
good, good.
That has been
Okay.
a
Perhaps-
big,
I don't believe in generating paperwork in a sense of word, but to help the council understand, because they will have to speak to their constituents, and quite honestly, I get a lot of calls from constituents too. If you put together something about your organization with what you propose to do, background and so forth, because I know the 911 board, but I don't know that much about it. And then Roane County can do the same thing. If Roane County does it by default, I suppose we'd have to go with Anderson. Might have to go with Anderson anyway. But at least that way, these folks would know far more about the operation of this emergency notification system.
So if you could get us the information, then I'll assimilate it to the council just as quickly as I can, and then we'll,
And we also want to see Rome County information. I want to see both, so that I can know that I have made a wise decision on behalf of this town.
Do we have hard deadlines that this has to be transferred?
they were set to take over the first week of January.
Is
Because
that
they've already taken over the
we've already taken the fire department.
Is that a hard deadline,
I mean,
or is it
It's
flexible
just
by a
what we
month or
were-
two? Because we got the holidays we just
I
made.
think it's flexible, but I think
David?
the biggest push is we're trying not to transfer those 911 calls.
Right.
So in the process, we are radioing from our center to Oliver Springs Police. And that creates a little operational issue that could cause some issues, because you've got two people involved at that point. So while it's not a pressing January 1, I think just having that two-way radio communication is a big need.
Well, we've gotten kind of pushed on the 911 thing, and that's why it's coming before, I guess, with them to speak with y'all today on consideration. So we have effectively already talked to our dispatchers. We have got them, signing up for other jobs, applying at whichever agency they decide they want to go with. And they have a drop dead date of December 31st as their last day of employment at the town of Oliver Springs. So this is something we need to move forward with. I have spoke to Roane County a couple times, and at this time, they apparently cannot meet any kind of deadline like that. Especially with the law enforcement software, we've reached out with the software company that they use. They would have to completely build a complete format. The timelines just are not lining up.
Whose
Wait.
fault is that? You people expect us, we have to put a rubber stamp on something. And I am not happy.
Corey, when did we have the meeting, you and Laxton, with Davey and Justin and Sheriff Parker? Was that
I can look back.
October, September-ish?
August, September. August, September.
So, and then there was a follow-up meeting. It's a few weeks after that, I don't know.
And why is it that we're just now hearing about this tonight? Somebody answer me that.
I had sent a message out for everyone, what was it, a month ago-ish, I don't know. It was before the election. And
We're just kind of short on details.
so, I was trying to be as transparent and open in the process as possible. I don't know. So, I've spoken with Corey about it a couple times. I've spoken with Chief Laxton about it, and,
I've got it on my phone, Tuesday, November 5.
okay,
3 years ago, Anderson County, he went on and took over multiple dispatches and so forth.
yes,
So that's when you sent it out.
yes.
I would think, as a lawyer, if I were on council, I would want to see the documentation that you propose that the town officials sign where they could review it ahead of time and see exactly what is going to be committed. Now, from a parliamentary procedure standpoint, I'm undecided whether the mayor, city manager, and police chief could sign a binding contract or not. Probably they could in one sense of the word. But at the same time, town council could possibly vote to override it, whether that's a wise choice or not are different. And what I try to do is to lay the foundation where the action taken by the mayor and the staff, or the town council and staff, would not be contested in the event there's litigation, because that's the acid test of your agreement. People say, oh, there won't be litigation. And we hope not. But see, again, in my 48 years of law practice and my service as city judge since 1985, I try to draft all my documentation with the idea in mind that they will be litigated. And I try to remove all the possible errors. Now, can't be perfect in that regard. But this is my thoughts in raising these questions, to give the people on council the most information so they can talk to their constituents and answer questions. But also they need to see the documentation.
And to kind of play off what you're saying, Your Honor, I think the kind of mindset myself and the mayor and Corey was under, the budget we have set for dispatch falls at $256,000, which is what y'all allot the police department to run dispatch. With that being said, with the offers and the negotiations, talking with Roane County and talking with Anderson County, it is going to fall more than 50% less than what you've allotted to for me to run dispatch. That being said, we're kind of waiting, and I've talked to Davey several times this week, we're waiting on a contract that's being drafted by Anderson County with the attorneys, all those kind of things, and that was kind of the formal documentation that we wanted to present to you. However, with a lot of the climate, notification of dispatch, talking to the dispatchers, there was a lot of talk going around town, and I think that's why the mayor had called in them to come in, because they're kind of unsure of what y'all may have heard. He wants to come in straight from them of this is what's going on. That's the only reason that we're not as prepared as in if we came to the next meeting to give you these documents. They're just not ready yet.
Well, see, them coming down here raises more questions than answers from my standpoint.
I completely understand. Yes, sir.
So was it checked out that it was cheaper to go with Anderson versus Roane? Or?
They are coming in quite similar. However, when I posed the question to the mayor, if we go with Anderson County, that's who we've always worked with, we have the same software, we have the same everything, it will just roll and happen. If we go with Roane County, we have to bid out a completely different software group. I have to retrain all the officers. We have to pay for conversion to have all the data that is currently housed on their servers to be transferred into this. Don't know what that would cost. And then this new company separates it in 3 different programs where they pay for one for us. I'll be honest with you, it was going to add a task to where that would be the only thing I would be completing would be a conversion to Roane County, whereas with this, it's just going to save the town money and we would be able to roll on with it.
If Roane County sends a letter or a communication upon which we can rely, that they decline, then by default it falls to Anderson County. But nevertheless, I still think that to make much stronger and politically more acceptable this decision, when I say make much more stronger, that gives the mayor, the city manager, police chief, with council backing, the authority of council in signing that, the support of council, whether the vote of council is needed or not. But council would have to see all the paperwork.
Yes, sir. And we can make that happen.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
you said this is, y'all are funded and overseen by the state, correct?
That's correct.
So here's the thing. If Roane County says yes, if the state don't say yes, we still have to go to Anderson County. So we'd have no choice. And like she said, they're not real keen on transferring. Because I was sitting here thinking about that and I thought, well, if we do all this hassle, all this stuff, and petition the state still says no, then we're right back where we're at right now. We're going with Anderson County.
And
If we take it, it's just a matter of a flip of a switch.
I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with Anderson County. Please understand that. But when you hit us cold, with no information, no documentation, no information out of Rome County, no information out of Anderson County, and you're standing here and you're like, it's like, just vote for it.
And no, again, that was partially, it was my fault. And I take
Well, I'm
full-
sorry, Jason, but that was a big mistake.
And like Mr. Chief Laxton said, I addressed the situation because of some unwarranted malicious rumors that were being circulated about the transfer of 911. And so I asked them to come and just present. November the 5th, I sent out a message. I didn't know. I'm not perfect. I'm not.
Neither are we. That's why we have to do due diligence.
So, that's what I did on November the 5th, was try to do due diligence.
Well, November 5th is today, you had no documentation, I know.
Well, we could
I'm not
have.
saying that you're fault in that regard, I'm just simply saying that,
All the documentation will come from the sheriff's department. We don't do the documentation. All the MOUs will come from Russell Barker. It will not come from that.
Right. But we'll get that just as quickly as, I'll call Sheriff Barker on my way home and,
Yeah, he hates, he was gonna be here this evening, and he hates, he had with his job,
Right, I understand. So I wasn't trying to catch anybody off guard. I wanted to be just as clear, transparent. That's who I am. That's what I do. I don't make deals behind closed doors. But
personally, I would like to see the authority between I assume your 911 board is a state agency or a nonprofit corporation. I would like to see the authority or the rules and regulations issued by the Tennessee bureaucracy authorizing you all to deal with the sheriff's department. Because in my limited ability as an attorney, if you all are an independent 911 board, you should have the payroll, you should have that facilities. Now, I
there are
realize
several
that's-
counties in this state that are like we are.
I don't doubt that a bit,
Yeah.
but I want to see your written authority as to why that's done. And I realize you'd have to have an accountant, yada, 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 and the sheriff's department's already set up. But I would just, for my personal education and because a lot of these councilmen ask me what my opinion is. And I want my opinion to be based upon what I have read and seen, not what y'all have said here. Not that you all are misrepresenting anything, but there's far more stuff in those documents than what you all may know or recognize or be able to tell.
Okay.
Tell us here tonight.
All right. Thank you, Joe. Thank you, Dave. Thank you, Justin. Thank you, Chief.
On the next meeting, can we get a letter like from the state that says, go the way Mr. Miller?
Yeah, tomorrow I'll make time to call and see what I can get done. So that's what I maintain all the time.
Mayor, I will say one more thing, if I may.
Yes.
Rome County is totally different. They are their own board, they hire their own employees, and they contract through cities. They are not mandated by state to have to do anything, to my knowledge, so just let you know that.
That's what, we got one organization down here and the other organization up here. If it's a statewide deal, it looks like they'll all be the same.
The sheriff has nothing to do with Rome County 911. They have a board member on there, and that's it. And all
That is
cities have.
exactly what we need to know.
Right.
Thank you, Dudley.
Thank you. Court.
So real quick, letter from the state, Terry, you said we're just, okay,
Saying that, they wouldn't consider,
I've got it now.
Changing 911 addresses.
City manager update.
Gotcha, let me get this written down here. Okay, fall pickup, last day for pickups is November 27th. Make sure to have everything put out next to the road by Sunday night. So next Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday will be the last days that we do the fall pickup. The leaf pickup will begin December 2nd and run through December the 13th. So again, that was leaf pickup, begins December 2nd, will run through December 13th. The OS Christmas Parade will be Saturday, December 21st. Lineup begins at 5 p.m., parade begins at 6 p.m. We've also got some handouts out on the table. Council, you've got these as well. Again, on Saturday, December 21st will be the wonderful Winter of Oz on Main Street. That'll run from 12 p.m. to 5 p.m. Lots of kids' activities, food vendors. Again, that was Saturday before the parade. Another thing, Ruby's Diner. They're hosting a free Thanksgiving dinner. This is Thanksgiving Day, available to everyone, from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. or until the food runs out. I believe Clyde was saying this was the 8th year that they've hosted this event. So again, that was Thanksgiving Day dinner at Ruby's Diner for free. We'll go ahead and bring up the performance services right now. Brian Stone, he's got a presentation just to kind of add off to the last council meeting. We've got some financial numbers for the projects.
So, thank you all. This will be a little better news on the, has anybody been to Public Works in the last 48 hours?
Yes.
Okay,
So we've been sending pictures.
okay, so there is.
We haven't seen pictures.
I went out there before the sun went down today. They should be done tomorrow. So it should be done tomorrow. They said at latest it would be Monday. So this should be a better update than the last time out, 2 weeks ago when I started. So apologies again for the delay in it, but the fencing will go up should have fencing up before Christmas. So it may take a little bit, a couple of weeks to get the fencing done. But if you noticed, CUB also moved a transformer and a pole as part of the shed. So they agreed to put in a whole new transformer at no cost to Oliver Springs on the Public Works campus and to move the pole and the line that goes across. So just so you know, there's been a couple of things that have happened in the last 2 weeks. As far as the other project, the last time I was here, I presented you guys scope of work. Tonight, I'd like to share with you guys the financial piece, so the cost, the savings, and then what kind of everything looks like. What I'd like to do is have you, I'll pass them out, have you to pass them. I know you've got one, but if you guys would, I can kind of go through. First of all, are there any questions on the scope from the last time that you guys had a chance to kind of, hopefully you had a chance to look through? You might have any questions on that?
I got one. As I recall from memory, you said that the town would probably have to pay, what, $15,000 a year?
Yeah, so the way in this group, in this packet that you'll have, it not only breaks out each of the individual pieces from a cost perspective, it shows you what the return on investment is. The second page in that is a cash flow. So we've put in a pretty conservative interest rate and cash flow, so we carry all the costs into that cash flow, so you can kind of judge and understand. And then what I wanted to do was allow you time to review it and understand it. And then the next time I come back, what I'd like to do is come here and just stay here all afternoon on.
Well, the question I have is that you mentioned back in the early spring, when the town council agreed to do this, that the way your projections were, it would not cost the town anything, and the cost would be paid for out of the savings. And that assumed we could change out the street lights with CUB. And then CUB declined to do business with you, and that was the biggest money saver going to LED lights. And because CUB declined, that cost the town $15,000 a year for so many years. In contracts, there's a clause that says that if our research that we believe to be accurate at this time proves incorrect, then your company would not be responsible to cover that cost. It's kind of like a rock clause in a construction contract where the contractor says, I can do this excavation of $100,000, but if it hit rock, then we got to have change orders to do with the blasting and so forth, because you can't coordinate with whatnot. And my question is, what provision in your contract excuses you all, because I'm not saying you didn't do due diligence, but had you done due diligence at a time with CUB, you would have found that out, and your proposal would have been materially different. If there's no clause in that contract, Performance Services would pay the $15,000, or whatever cost it may be. If there's a clause in the contract, then the town would have to pay that. And I wanted to ask if you had on the tip of your tongue, or could point out to town council this contract where that because CUB, you hadn't talked to them ahead of time, obviously, CUB declined, that cost will be passed on to the town. Where's that in the contract?
So, maybe a little misunderstanding on what our guarantees are. And what we guarantee as a company and what is in our contract, we go through 3 phases of work. We went through a preliminary assessment where we gave high-level costs and savings. It was a range. If you remember, you each had a little binder and saw that. In that, we very clearly said these are estimates. We then go through the what we call an investment grade audit. That's what we've completed now. The investment grade audit is where we do the complete engineering, the complete development, bid out each of the pieces, and come up with what we're willing to guarantee from a cost and savings standpoint. Also in our guarantee, we do not do change orders. We own the risk for the scope that we present. So if there's something that we've missed on our scope, we own that risk. We do. So may I finish? We do not come back and say, we missed this, or there's rock on this. We own the risk. So when we give you a guaranteed maximum price or a guaranteed price, that's what it is.
I was not suggesting there was rock that you had to deal with.
No, it's just an
That's
example.
my example. What I am asking in a point blank way, is you mentioned due diligence. Your company didn't do due diligence by talking to CUB ahead of time. Because your company did not do due diligence and you made these representations to town council, and your representations that you thought you could get CUB to agree to this, town council going to pay $15,000 more per year or whatever is on the budget. If there's a clause that says that town council assumes this risk, I will see it. If there's no clause in there, then we possibly have a problem.
So
In your defense, Brian, and nobody saw, you all have done LED light projects before with other cities and utilities, correct? And have not run into this problem. And unfortunately, for whatever reason, CUB is the way CUB is. Why would they not let us have access to their utility poles for veterans flags? 6 months. I
understand what you're saying.
I understand due diligence, but the protocol is, they've done it before in other cities and utilities. Okay, what would be any different here? Well, for whatever reason, they down there.
What I'm saying though is that if this company relied upon what other utilities has done as their due diligence, that's a mistake they made. And I realize that they might have relied on that and understand and respect that. But what I'm thinking about is saving the taxpayers' money. I'm not trying to get into problems with this company. I just asked a simple question. Show me in the contract. And you don't have a contract with you.
may I answer?
I'm sorry?
May I answer you?
Yes.
When we have a master services agreement with the town of Oliver Springs that this board authorized and executed. In that contract, we very specifically spelled out a task order. Task order 1 is the investment grade audit. We made no representations or guarantees that we could deliver.
Show me that in writing in the contract.
It's in the contract, and you have.
I don't have a contract with me.
Okay, we made no representations that we could guarantee that CUB was going to work with us. We made no representations because when we do a preliminary assessment, all our goal is to show you is what is possible and what we think is reasonable. That way you have a little skin in the game in that investment grade audit that this board authorized, that if we come back and do not deliver the project that we say we can, you don't have the right, you don't have you're not required to move forward. You're not.
You're telling me that orally. I am saying, show it to me in writing.
Yes, sir.
And you might not have brought the contract, I didn't bring the contract. I'm calling this to your attention, that in a perfect world, you present the contract and highlight the provision upon which you're relying, and we would all read it and say, yes, you're right.
Respectfully.
Or maybe we disagree respectfully, we're gonna sit down and talk. That's what I'm asking.
You've had the contract for 6 months. This town has had the contract for 6 months. The only thing I'm coming back tonight and potentially asking for at the next meeting is an execution of the task order to go and let us build the work. The contract has already been signed, executed, and agreed and approved by this board.
I would agree, but it was approved in a broad sense with the idea that we would not cost any money. And now you're coming in and saying it's going to cost us money. My question is, show me in writing where there's this exculpatory clause that gives your company this ability to pass these unanticipated and unexpected costs on the town. That's where due diligence comes in, because
So,
you want to take away all the unexpected, unknown factors and make them known.
to be clear, the town is under no obligation to do a project with us.
Yes, that's true,
There's-
but we've already done this project, and if we don't follow through, there's a penalty clause in there. And what I'm thinking of is that if your due diligence in legal terms is a condition precedent, then if you did not do your work on this condition precedent, the town is not responsible. Now, that's a legal argument, and you're not a lawyer, I respectfully understand that. But that's why I say, I want to see the contract. I want to see you show me that. You're saying I can look at it and read it. No, you're taking the position that you want this bailout provision, and I'm taking the position to prove that bailout provision to this town council to save the taxpayers $15,000 a year, or ever how much it is.
I'm happy to set up a meeting with you and our legal team, and we can talk through it.
Okay, I'm not the town's attorney.
Then I
You'd
can,
have to be with the town, and I'll be glad to sit in the meeting. But to me, it'd be the mayor and the city manager and our city attorney, Mr. Davis out of Kingston, and any county council members that want to attend. But if you provide us with the contract with the highlighted provisions, might not need to meet.
so our contract provides two things. One, that first task order was what we call an investment grade audit. We make no representations in that or guarantees in that, because we're not building anything. All we're doing is developing and engineering a scope of work. We then take that scope of work and bid it out to qualified local subcontractors. That's what we've done. What I can't control is CUB's ability to play ball with us and to work with us. There was no due diligence that could have been done on the front end, because I didn't know, one, what the scope was, and two, how long or what it was going to take.
Well, we can debate on that long. I think I have raised the questions that I have adequately before town council. I think I have suggested to you and your company the questions I have. And so at some point, either prior to the next meeting, at the next meeting, town council may disregard the questions I've asked, or town council may say, show us your disclaimer.
So to this board, I'll just address it. You're under no obligation to do a project with us. The only obligation this board has is to pay us for the shed that we're currently building. That's it. If you guys don't want to do anything else with us, or Mr. Van Hook wants to say no for you guys.
Now, wait a minute,
May I
now.
finish my sentence?
I'm not saying no for town council, I have no vote on council.
Mayor, may
I don't want you to go away with that idea. I don't run this town council, and I don't run this town.
Joe.
I am a tool for these people because I've got the background education and training. I also know there's a penalty in there.
I'm gonna be real honest. If you guys don't want to work with us, I can leave now, and we don't have to do any other business. We can bill you for the shed, and that can move on. Okay, but I don't deserve to stand up here and take this. So, thank you. I appreciate you guys. If you want me to come back on December 5th, I'll be glad to.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Let me run through the finances real quick. You've got the one bank statements. Water payroll accounts, you currently got $70,987. Your rural development account, $106,580.82. Waterworks account, $366,436.68. And your HRA, which is your current health insurance water department account, is $61,320. Your general fund bank statement currently have $203,146.39. Your current gas fund, which is your State Street aid, $232,167.92. Payroll account, $13,850.56. Your general fund HRA account, $6,096.13. Now, keep in mind that your HRA accounts go away December 31st of 2024. Your new insurance will take effect January the 1st, 2025. City judge account, $3,449.96. And your drug fund currently has $9,208.96. Your second handout, I went ahead and put this in here again. This is more for your water and sewer department. Your remaining ARPA funds, you recently purchased your sewer system inspection camera. That was $198,874, so you have $112,582.47 still in ARPA funds. Now, keep in mind that has to be allocated. It don't have to be spent by the end of 2024, but it has to be allocated, which we have fully met that requirement. Under your water and sewer budget, take these, look through them, highlight them. If you have any questions, either text me or let's meet one day next week, the week after. We'll do an account analysis just to see what those expenses or revenues are. Your metered water sales, currently for the year, yearly total is $971,973. Let's go ahead to the back page. It's kind of highlighted green. Now, let me back up just a second. If you look at the net change in position, yearly total, you show $194,890.15 expense over revenues.
Where are you?
On the very back page, under the highlighted green. So if you'll look in October of 2024, expenses minus capital projects. So October, you had $281,313.59 in capital projects. So when we reconcile our budget to a cash basis, those capital projects will be moved down here to your very bottom. So right now, you're currently sitting at $19,315.04 revenues over expenses for this year. And that's through October 31st of 2024. Again, take several of those, highlight them, any questions, and get with me either tomorrow, Monday, or Tuesday next week, and we'll go through and clear those up. On your general fund budget, now keep in mind your property taxes, look at the top line right off the bat. Property taxes don't start coming in until October of each year. So basically July, August, September, you're operating off of reserves and sales tax. Every other city does the same thing. So you will show losses July, August, September, October is where you really start picking up. Now, if you look on your back page, expenses over revenues in July, $156,334. August, $94,234 expenses over revenues. September, $174,405 expenses over revenues. And October, here's your drop, $6,984 expenses over revenue. Now, keep in mind, you have capital projects in here. And if you will look on page, I think it's on the street. Yeah, highways and streets, so you're gonna be on page 8 of 13. A lot of highlighted yellow here. So there's some issues with the miscoding we had to clear back up. Look at the very bottom, asphalt filler, the $21,521.88 was for a paving capital project that happened in June, which would be last fiscal year. So that expense will be transferred back to June, your last fiscal year. Your $16,000, that will be paid out, or should have been paid out of State Street aid. So we're right off the bat, we're about $38,000 right there. So really no issues or concerns right now with where I'm at. But please go through these, look through them closely, highlight them, circle them, get with me tomorrow, next week, and let's look at everything closer. And that's all I have.
Mr. Miller.
I would like to welcome our new council person. I wasn't here last council meeting. Things beyond my control, but I'd like to welcome you aboard. Look forward to working with you in the coming years. And I have to say, I think this is the first time that the board has had 3 females on this board as long as I can remember, so.
I think the 2 as much as I ever remember it's been, so watching as a kid, teenager. Yep. That's all I got. Thank you, Mr. Miller. Mr. Bass?
How are we coming along with some of our road patching or started doing some one weeks?
So yes,
Still
we
going
have.
pretty good?
Yeah, we have. I think we've got one on Maple Lane that we've got to get, or 2 on Maple Lane we've got to get caught up on. Sided off of Richards. It's not Aspen, is it?
Clark.
Park Lane. Park Lane, we've got one on Park Lane. Now, we were looking at paving actual roads back in, I think, August, September. Mainly second, there was some on Second Norway. So again, looking at your revenues and everything, we've put that off. We just went in and patched those roads for right now. So we can circle back around in the spring and go back and finish up on actual paving on those.
Well, that's all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Bass. And our newest member of the board, Miss Charlie Bailey. Do you have anything this time?
I just wanted to kind of go off what Corey was saying about the Christmas event. So, I've been working with another citizen in the town to kind of plan this, and I just want to kind of confirm some of the things that we do have set in stone. So the police department's been huge help. I don't know if you've been in there and seen the decorations, but Lisa Harper decorated inside and it looks amazing, so that's really exciting. She's also, I think, going to decorate the library for us. So at the library, we're going to have Mrs. Claus reading some Christmas stories. If you've never heard, Sherry brought us reading Christmas stories, or any story that you're missing out, so it's going to be really good.
She's amazing.
At the police station, they're going to write letters to Santa and decorate cookies. We've had a lot of people donate to that, so that's been really good. The Danny's is going to be open for hot chocolate, and they're also going to have a station for reindeer food, so that's going to be fun. The high school's actually got some kids that are going to come help, by the way, the Beta Club, I think. And we are currently working on trying to get a sign to go maybe downtown and possibly one other place in the town. I've got somebody to give us a quote on it, so it'll be to where we can like change the day every year, so hopefully it's a big deal and we can do this again. So that's pretty much it though.
Thank you, Charlie. And also the Halloween trunk or treat down at the park, Charlie and Lauren Lefew help oversee that. So thank you for.
She's also helping with this too.
Yes, so thank you. Ms. Van Hook.
Just want to ask Corey how the health insurance sign-up is coming along. Things going?
Yeah, everything's went good. We've got to have all the paperwork filled in and turned in by December the 13th, or December the 6th. That gives us a week for any changes to be made. Everything will be submitted on December the 13th. So everything's got to be turned in by December the 6th. I think most all the employees came to the 2 meetings we had on Tuesday at 11 a.m. and 2 p.m. So we've also got the lady's number if you all had any questions for her.
Could you give it to us?
Yeah.
Her name?
Yeah, after the meeting, we'll get everything to you. Now, was everything in your all's packet? I think everything would have been in your all's packet for the health insurance.
You mean our personal?
Yeah,
Yeah, Joe got that.
okay. So you should have that. And I'll get you that contact information.
Okay.
Anything else, Ms. Van Hook?
No.
Thank you. Mr. Hall.
Corey, what's the timeline on the library grant equipment? Is that like weeks, months?
No, I mean, you're talking probably days or weeks now. But I mean, it should be in, and it may, some of them may already be in good condition, I'm not really sure
That's
about
all.
that. But it was not an extended period.
Come on, what?
The green
Grant
Oh, the library agreement.
equipment over there.
Well, they kind of passed the word that may help some homeschooling. parents and stuff.
Yeah.
It gets really going.
So I think the last time we talked about that, we were talking about, computer setup for the kids, homeschooling. Jessica's also got a program set up for like seniors if they only have with taxes, and then just anything, health insurance. I mean, there's a lot of stuff she's got set up over there for really all ages.
It looks like we got another week on the garbage pickup. I preach that every year. That you can't ask for.
The fall cleanup? Yeah.
Yeah, no, garbage,
Yeah.
fall cleanup.
Yeah.
You can't ask for free stuff getting hauled off, so start writing tickets the 28th. Chief.
Yeah.
In case Performance Services comes back, do we have a digital copy of that, renovations of the office? City Hall, well, this is like 200, pretty high. I couldn't read the notes on the, print there.
If not, I can get it.
I only see like swapping the office and the tax office, put the door in or something. It's not really clear what's going on.
So, I didn't even look at it, to be honest with you.
That's about printing the back.
I'll get you a digital copy. Actually, I'll get everybody a digital copy of this and email it to everyone.
I see work going on down here at the traffic light. Was that,
They're putting up the new house, the new Academy sign,
oh,
the digital sign.
seemed like the traffic light things were bigger or something. I don't know if I just,
I don't know about
they've
that.
always been
but,
there.
Rusty and his crew helped, Rowan County Schools dig the old sign out, dig the hole for the new one, and then their crews come in and, pour the hole and put the new sign up.
Oh, it's already up there?
Yeah, it's a nice sign, real nice sign. Yeah.
That's good. Everybody make a note of it. Yeah, I guess. That's all.
Thank you, Mr. Hall. Mr. Bainey.
Just to add to Charlie, December the 21st, Devaney's will probably be selling our hot dogs also, not just hot chocolate.
Okay, cool.
Other than that, I don't think there's anything. What about the traffic light in front of Big City?
Oh.
What did we?
Yeah.
So I talked with a resident, that he had a family member that does this type of stuff. So I met with him and he recommended the very first thing we do is contact CUB and have them come in and check the power supply. He said a lot of times, well, really 99% of the time, you're getting like a dirty power coming in. So he's wanting us to check the power supply first because that can cause those timers to drift. So that'd be the first thing we do. Now, as far as the parts wise, if for any repairs, we've not looked at that yet. We want to verify first that, like I said, with CUB, the power and everything's fine.
So has anybody reached out to Big City?
I have not reached out to Food City, have not. And if I'm not mistaken, that is the town's responsibility.
Yeah, we're 100% liable for that light. Food City has no part of it.
But CUB should be able to have a recorder to monitor that fire for a week if they need to,
Yeah.
until any dirty fires.
That's all.
Thank you. Chief Laxton. Nothing this time. Chief Bailey.
Ladies and gentlemen, I got two things coming for you tonight. The first one, we'll look at the new thermal imaging cameras. As you guys remember, back in July, we received $30,000 from Anderson County Commission with some work through the Fire Commission. And that $30,000 was to buy capital outlay items for the department. The first thing I'm going to bring to you guys is the purchase of thermal imaging cameras. They're going to be $4,597 a piece. Looking at buying two of them, one for each one of the engines. One, it increases our abilities. Two, it replaces some outdated equipment that's, right now, it's 10 years old from the date we purchased it, and we bought a demo unit. So it's about a 1 to 4 year old demo unit when we bought it. It's going to end up coming into $9,194. That money is set aside, so no effect on our budget whatsoever.
Just need a motion to purchase it.
Motion to purchase it.
I'll make a motion to purchase the equipment for $9,194.
Second.
Motion and second. Any discussion?
Are you happy with those, with that room?
Yes.
Roll call, Joe.
Ron Miller,
Yes.
Jeff Bass,
Yes.
Charlie Bailey, Lisa Van Hook,
Yes.
Terry Holland,
Yes.
Nikki Devine.
Yes.
Passes.
Yeah, that brand coming in is cheap, but that brand has also got the most powerful processor right now on the market, so it's the best one out there. Next thing I got coming for you guys is a reporting system upgrade. As some of you found out tonight, we did switch over to Anderson County 911 on the fire department back in 1st November. Some of the things that we ran into, and this is something that we was looking as an upgrade when we did buy the reporting system as well, is with burn permits. The fire department don't have access to burn permits. The 911 center does not do burn permits because it has an administrative function. Also, our citizens do not have access 24/7 besides calling dispatch for our burn permits. When they call dispatch, they get a kind of a recording. We have no record other than the info that gets put in dispatch, that they actually truly acknowledge what they're agreeing to as far as their burn permit. So what this upgrade does, it gives us 24/7 access with a computer, internet access to the department's reporting system from a general citizen. They're able to apply for permits. They're able to apply for smoke detector installs. They're able to do a couple other things as far as business inspections and stuff like that go with it. That upgrade, the first year is $4,500, $3,500 falling every year. It's something that I can absorb into the budget. It allows people to have access to the department, and it allows the department to reach the people as well. The way the permitting goes in that is when somebody does apply for a permit, all parties involved would know of what they're actually agreeing to. So if you, say you're burning some brush and it goes after dark, and that brush is, 20 feet high, it tells you in the permit, and you agree to the rules and stipulations of that permit. So that when I come out at about 9 o'clock and I say, hey, you need to put the fire out, or we can put the fire out. And then if we put the fire out, we actually have to charge the individual and then cite them and also get reimbursement from them. So it allows us hey, by the way, this is what you've agreed to, way of doing things.
Sounds like a really good system.
I know some other departments that have went to it. It was an add-on that we knew that we wanted to go to eventually. And, it's an opportunity that we can do. But I do need a motion and a second to be able to sign the contract.
I'll make the motion.
I got a question. Who approves the burn permit?
The fire department does. The burn permit process is all ran under the fire department, which is your head fire marshal in the town. It's me.
But I mean, say you approve me a burn permit at 12 o'clock 4th Street. Puts out no burn ban
Then
statewide.
I have to call back and then I can cancel your burn permit. That's in the code now. And Chief Lasting can tell you, there's several times I've called and been like, hey, by the way, no more burn permits, and anybody that's got them, call them and cancel them. This would make an automatic system to where if you have it, I've got all your data in there, it emails you, one, and then two, I can track it and then call as well.
So what get on top of what he said. So when you email into this residential portal thing, it shoots to you and you automatically replies back, or you have to wait for a confirmation?
No, it automatically does all of that for them. They'll get a copy of the email of what they've agreed to, I get a copy of it, or what other email I attach to it. So I can have like a blanket fire department email that goes to it. It also goes in our reporting system, which I've got my work one pulled up right now, but it pops up on the map as well, that we can see actively who has the burn permit.
So it gives the GPS.
It gives the GPS and it also puts in the person's information. That way, if we go there, again, at 9 o'clock at night, nobody's around, I have the contact and everything in it to contact.
Would this be paid for through grant money?
This is be paid for out of my normal operating budget right now.
Where do you see getting that?
right now. So right now it comes out of my reporting software, which is a contract, which is under contractor services.
Contractual service.
Yes.
Looks like you have $5,000 left.
Yeah.
So I got a question. Can we not pay for this out of that $30,000 grant you got from the county?
I can, but I was planning on doing fire hose. Since that fire hose is about 25 years old.
You don't get a lot to work with, I mean.
No, I don't.
It's pitiful.
And I will say this on Justin's behalf, when we, State Senator or State Representative Ed Butler has graciously sent us multiple grants to apply for, and forward them down range, and I feel very confident we're gonna get some of that grant money as well coming forward. It's gonna be a substantial amount of money. That's not guaranteed, so please don't misunderstand me, but I feel very confident that we'll get, OS will be awarded some funding, thank you.
Yeah.
So you got enough cushion in your budget?
I've got enough cushion because I've got 2 different grants right now that I'm paying equipment out of. The 30,000 is one of them. The state of Tennessee, we did receive one of those grants last year for turnout gear, which you guys approved. That's another one. That's $4,000 I normally spend on PPE. So I've got cushion in there to be able to absorb it. With the fire hose coming out of the $30,000, they'll replace all of my crosslay lines. That's the hope, as long as prices don't go up again. But I'm applying, as I was speaking with Jason, he was talking about that one. He messaged me, I said $65,000 is what I've just applied for. That was for the state one. I'm currently working on the FG one, which is probably going to be about $100,000. And that's going to be replacing the rest of the fire hose.
How much do you anticipate it costing to replace the fire hose that you need replaced?
Overall, it's about $144,000.
So you're trying your best to get the grant money?
Yeah.
You think it's fairly likely?
Fairly likely, it's a high priority item. So, if not, I'll do it like I've done in the past. I'll piece here, piece there, piece here, piece there. I've done it for 20 years, so.
Need a second?
What do you got, 1,200 for the crosslays now?
Roughly, give or take some.
And I know somebody's gonna ask, what if you're not computer literate?
Computer literate, the plan is right now, we've been talking, I believe we're going to end up transferring like Monday through Friday. The calls will end up coming to the admin office, and the admin office will be able to input
They
it
can
as well.
still copy, okay.
Yeah.
So I have a motion by Mr. Bass and a second
Second.
from Ms. Van Hook. Any further discussion? Roll call, Joe.
Robert Miller.
Yes.
Jeff Bass.
Yes.
Charlie Bailey.
Yes.
Lisa Vann.
Yes.
Terry Allen.
Yes.
Thank you, Lamar.
Yes.
Hey, real quick, while you're here, Justin, would you just like to expound on our first discussion of the evening?
Yes. So, I've not made any, really hiding about this. I've been trying to go to regional dispatch for about 10 years. The reason being, on my side, this is how your 911 calls used to come in. 911 call comes in, say you call 911, it goes to Anderson County, that's a landline. Anderson County gets the call, processes the call, they dispatch an ambulance. Anderson County's processed the call, they realize, hey, it's a first responder call. They then have to call downtown, even before the 911 taken out, they call downtown and ask, hey, send your first responders. Our dispatcher, which does an awesome job, they process the call again. What you received was about anywhere between a 2 to a 5-minute delay in the call for your first responder agency going out. So what that means for me, I have an average response time of about 7 minutes. Your average, that call process there, having to go through 2 dispatch centers, has caused extra time built into the system. Mr. Miller talked about Roane County. Roane County sometimes has the same thing as far as the call process and then call back. When we went to them back in probably about 2-3 years ago, this is what all Anderson County E911 has done for the Oliver Springs Fire Department as a whole. $60,000 put in mobile radios in all the fire trucks. That was to be able to allow us to talk to them regionally. Roughly about $3,000 a year, Anderson County funds the paging software that goes out over our phones. That's stuff that does not come out of my budget now. We've been moving towards a regionalized system for a while. The other reason why is because on the structure fire, I work hand in hand with Marlow Volunteer Fire Department, also Blair Volunteer Fire Department, and Oak Ridge Fire Department. All of us are now on the same system. Well, now, for me, I'm also on the same dispatch channel as Marlow Volunteer Fire Department. So there is no transfer. When the transfer started processing the first time, at first, it was them just processing the call and then the info. Because of the data transfer, there's information I'm getting now that E911 was putting in the system that our dispatcher could not put in the system because that data could not be transferred. So now I'm receiving that data on the front end. Our calls have went from that 2 to 4 minute delay to, we're getting the same time as the EMS agency's getting it. So as soon as they drop the call on Medic 4, Medic 2, Medic 1, whichever one, we're getting the call at the same time. So where that comes into, years past, before they moved 911 out of our downtown, and that was some of the regionalization that happened back 15 plus years ago now. Before that, if you called 911, the first responder agency went out, we were beating the ambulance 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes or more because the call process. Even with us being dispatched at the same time, I'll use last night as an example. There's an incident that happened in the high school. We got dispatched at the same time as the EMS agency. Our unit was on the scene for 5 minutes plus before the EMS truck got there. So we're getting services quicker on the fire side. We're also able to talk directly with our mutual aid partners. As far as the switch, for me, it literally was a radio channel. That's all we switched. They reprogrammed all of our radios for us so that we could have home channels, but it was an easy switch for us. It's an easy switch. Like I said, I've never made a hide that, and it's nothing against our dispatch center or anything of that nature. It was for the simple fact that I need to be able to talk to mutual aid partners. I work with Anderson County EMS. I work with Marlow Volunteer Fire Department. I work with Anderson County EMA, and on occasion, the rescue squad as well. So all of those agencies are coming to this city if there is something going on. All those agencies, we're all on the same channel system now. So there's no back forth, and Robert and Jeff can both attest to this. At one time, we had to have 4 different radios sitting in the front yard to be able to talk to the 4 or 5 agencies that was around us. So now we're all on the same system. So if Blair is coming to us, all they do is switch over to Anderson County frequencies and function with us. If Oak Ridge is coming to us, they switch over the channel and they function with us. We're already getting Marlow, so that's one less agency that we have to switch. So for me, it's been 100% positive. It's been 100% positive for the citizens. And, you know, that's been my take on it all along. Like, again, we have awesome dispatchers, and I do not say that to say anything bad about our dispatch system. Correct. It was a delay that was put in place before Chief Laxton was put in position, before a lot of people was put in position. And that delay has cost a lot of things over the years. There are some calls now because of that being the same dispatcher. I'm getting now that we used to maybe get dropped because they'd hang up the phone, pick up the phone, call in. So they're dropping this all on the same system. So there was one minor hiccup, I will say this. There was one minor hiccup and it lasted for about 1 minute. At one call yesterday, there was 3 different first responder agencies coming to the same call. Because they accidentally dropped Marlow and Rescue Squad on the call as well. So that was one on Sleepy Hollow. I'm okay with that. But, you know, it's one of those things that was the only glitch I've seen in the system so far for us.
And also, in the last 2 years, the Anderson County Commission has given us, what, $75,000? Is that correct?
The commission has given us $80,000.
Okay, that's what it is.
The E911 board, which is separate, has given us $60,000.
Okay.
They continuously give us $3,000. They give us, I'll use the radio updates for example. Just them reprogramming our radios through EMA, which is a very close partner of ours, probably saved us anywhere, we'll estimate anywhere between $50 to $100 a radio. We've got 24 portables. Actually I get a few more than that because I got some reserves. And then we've got 5 mobiles. So that partnership for me on the fire department side has been nothing but positive, and your citizens are going to reap nothing but positives
Okay.
on that.
Thank you, Justin.
I got one more thing.
Yes.
Should we, once you get this set up, fill out this, like the livestock and the pets and all that kind of stuff?
Steve, on
It's just something every person has.
Oh, absolutely. So, where that kind of comes in, that's one added benefit of the system. So we got what's called pre-planning that goes out. Business goes in, we go to a lot of the businesses. Some of them I go to without them really wanting me to go into them because I've been there for a fire alarm. But if they go in and they fill out data, that's a pre-plan. In other words, I've got your information that tells me a little bit about your structure. So if we have a significant elderly population inside now. So if you got somebody that's got some medical conditions, and again, you got some experts here on the council that was in the fire department for a very long time, and they can attest to this. You got somebody that's got a medical condition, you can type in the info in that system. We get it, but it's only us that gets it. So if I respond to that call, it pops up that info on that call. And it'll say, hey, key holder's this person, or a lot of people get high keys. And there's a lot of times we'll get a dispatch comment that says high keys here. Well, if you go ahead and have that info in there, I've already got that info for them. So that part is an added benefit to that as well.
The pets is important if it's on fire.
Yeah, I can account for most people.
So really, we would just need to make our citizens aware.
Yeah, as soon as I sign this agreement tonight, it'll go in. They're about a 2-week processing. I've been working with them on some of the other upgrades here lately. It's about a 2-week process. During that 2-week process, they'll send out some info, they'll build the site. From my understanding, it will get attached to our website as well, either by hyperlink or just a link page. And we'll send out the info from them.
Corey, is that something that we could put on the back of the water bills for city residents?
See, right now you're limited,
Yeah,
but say for a couple months in a row, you could
yeah.
put something like
Just,
this.
yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, at least if you post it on a website and have that layout or something.
Yeah, they'll be between social media, word of mouth and everything, that'll be something we'll be putting out there for you.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
Thank you, Justin.
No old business, new business. We have, oh my goodness gracious, I apologize, Turkey. So we had a first, a motion, we had a second. Discussion, roll call, Joe.
Robert Miller,
Yes, sir.
Jeff Bass. Yes. Charlie Bailey,
Yes.
Lisa Van Hook,
Yes.
Terry Holland,
Yeah.
Becky Devane.
Yes.
Thank you. I apologize. So, no old business, new business, discuss, garbage, service bids.
All right, so you have the 11 by 17 spreadsheet. Council, we had the bids that were turned in a couple months ago. Decided last meeting to have those bids open. So those bids were opened by myself, the mayor was present. We had 3 or 4 people in the room. I've got a sign-in sheet for that if anybody wants to see it. So currently on item 1, you have the way you're currently set up right now. 1,500 customers, residential trash pickup, homeowner provides the can. You have Waste Connections, unit bid price of $11. You have advanced disposal, unit bid price of $12. You have drop and go dumpsters, unit bid price of $13. Ward waste and Rover's waste, unit bid price of $15. Five-star waste, $13.86, and waste management turned in a no bid. The only changes in bids, advanced disposal had a year 2 12% increase and a year 3 12% increase, as well as drop and go had that year 2, year 3 increase as well. So item number 2, again, 1,500 customers, residential trash pickup with the contractor providing a 96-gallon can. Waste Connections, $14.52. Advanced disposal, $13.53. Drop and go dumpsters, $14.53. Ward waste / Rover's waste, $15. Five-star waste, $16, and waste management turned in no bid. Also, if you look at the 2 bids that also had a year 2 and year 3 12% increase, would have been advanced disposal and drop and go dumpsters. The supporting documentation would be the other sheets, would be the actual bid proposals that were submitted back in.
I myself don't see Ward changing to another company. They picked up, they're doing a lot better with their services. I don't see where we should switch and cost our people any more money than what we're charging them right now.
I will say, Mr. Metcalf took over, it was July to August. There's no sugarcoating it. I've spoken to Mr. Metcalf on multiple occasions. It was a really bad service for a while. We were averaging 15 to 18 complaints a week, which was on par for the size of the city of Oak Ridge. They receive almost 20 complaints a week. Well, now, fast forward, again, I've spoken with Mr. Metcalf several times, and it's not a perfect service, but right now they're averaging, if I'm not mistaken, Wendy said between 2 to 3 complaints a week. So we've gone from 15 to 18 down to 2 to 3, and I believe last week there was 1, and as of today at lunchtime when I was here, it was 0 for this week. Now again, it's not to say that somebody doesn't call in and complain. We're working towards, getting better and providing our people with the best service possible. And just like last week, I actually stopped the gentleman who do pick up the garbage for the town of Oliver Springs, and I just had a heart-to-heart with him. And I told Mr. Metcalf I was going to have a heart-to-heart with him, and we did. And what did you say today, sitting right in there, about the garbage service?
They come through this morning and all the cans were put back like they should be, except for when the 60-mile-an-hour winds come through and put them all back out in the street. So.
Right, and so, and that's what we want our people to know, that our expectation is, your all's expectation is, my expectation is, we want top-tier service, right? I mean, that's just, we may be a little Oliver Springs, but we want what's best for our people, always. So, I digress. Corey?
So at the last meeting, again, the one action that we were to take was back in before November of '23, the customers were being charged $10.20. November of last year, Waste Connections went up to $10.68. We did not pass that cost along to the customers. So now that it's went up to $11, I would recommend that you change the customer.
We've got to
$11 now.
We do. But I hate to say it,
Service
we
is
have to.
better now.
Now, before we ask for a motion in a second, I do want you all to consider something, okay? And I'm not trying to bamboozle you, I'm not trying to slide one in on you. It's something to think about and possibly address at the next budget cycle, which it could be 6 months, but I do want to throw this out there. I want to see the city of Oliver Springs have a more robust recycling program. And I'm not talking about like Oak Ridge where everybody has a can and it costs $15 extra a month. No. I'm talking about Waste Connections providing us 2 30-yard containers, one down here, one out there by Leach's, and it's a 30-yard container. They come and pick it up, they take it off. It would be roughly about 50 cents per customer. It would be, you know, our guys right now, if Rusty was still here, I think he said, and maybe BB knows this, you know, 2 guys, 1 day a week, it's all day, right? So we're having to allocate city resources, and I think we might be better served, maybe, if you all think, yeah, I agree with that, or no, we don't. But just a thought that I wanted to throw out there to all of council and to our members, you know, our constituents to think about. You know, would we like to see a more robust recycling program? I would. I'm not saying, I don't speak for you all, but that's just a thought.
What would be the items that can be put in the recycle container?
It would be plastic,
Plastic,
aluminum,
plastic, aluminum, and cardboard.
cardboard, yes. No glass.
Papers too, I think.
And papers,
No
yes.
glass?
I don't think so. I don't think so. So it would just be a lot larger. Like right now, and again, I wish Rusty, I know it's getting late. I think right now, a lot of times, those containers we have, they get full really quick. And people set stuff outside and garbage spreads everywhere, right? And with the Waste Connections substantially larger, we see that it's full today, we call them, they pick it up today. Or, you know, if we see it's full, and whenever it's full, we just give them a call, they come, and then they take off. So, and then it's back the same day, again, for people to be, you know, whereas like right now, it's just 1 day a week.
How much more would it cost our citizens?
It would be roughly about, and I could have crunched the numbers wrong, but I believe it's around 50 cents per customer per month.
So our water bill would go to $11.50, or I'm sorry, our garbage waste.
It would,
Go
yeah.
to $11.50 a month roughly.
It would, yes, ma'am.
I can get us a better number on that too.
Yeah, again, it's not action needs to be taken tonight, but it's just something that I would graciously ask that you all consider going forward.
I think Cory wouldn't hurt to get the information.
Yeah, and you might even look at getting, you know, instead of 2 sites, maybe 4 sites around town. Kind of spread it around a bit more.
Yeah, for sure.
I got a question.
Yes.
Are we still getting a bunch of household garbage stuffed in them containers?
And
At
that
one
would,
time, people were using that for their own private garbage cans.
so, and Mr. Metcalf did say that is the one item of concern is, you know, when you do have those large containers, because like ours are green, right? And people pretty much know green containers recycling. Theirs are blue, possibly paint them green, and possibly have signage up that states a recycling. If people do put garbage in, it's unfortunate and we have to get it out.
Who has to
So do we
do
have to get
that?
that?
We do. We do. We would be. That would be, and that's a,
Get down the dumpster.
You
dig
said
out
paper,
garbage.
cardboard, plastic, and what?
Aluminum.
Aluminum.
and paper. Yeah, so. All right, so do we have a motion to accept the garbage service bid at $11?
I make the motion.
Have a motion, a second. Any further discussion?
Who seconded?
Mr. Miller?
All right.
Roll call, Joe?
Robert Miller,
Yes, sir.
Jeff Bass,
Yes.
Charlie Bailey,
Yes.
Teresa Van Hook,
Yes.
Terry Holland,
Yes.
Becky Devane.
Yes.
And in my closing words, I don't know that I've ever done this. I want to apologize if you, I try to do everything open and above board, and I apologize if it did cause people by surprise, and I take full responsibility. But it starts at the top, and I'm the mayor. So I will work diligently to address your all's concerns going forward, and just know that myself, Cory, we won't allow it to happen again. Okay, so with all that being said, motion to adjourn. So moved. All in favor, say aye. Aye.